Ethereum versus Solana, Solana versus Ethereum, Solana and Ethereum versus the world. But that's not what we're talking about. We want to talk about these two blockchains compared to one another. Which one's kind of better and which one has the more price potential, of course, which is what we really want to know moving into the next cycle. Look, the great debate has been going on for a long time. Solana is the new kid on the block compared to Ethereum. And while Vitalik Buterin has actually been pretty supportive of Solana's growth, even going as far as saying that he hopes that Solana thrives, others have been a little less welcoming, like Joe Lubin, the guy behind Consensus, which is one of Ethereum's major development studios. Solana founder Anatoly Yakovenko said he's pretty fed up with comparing Solana to Ethereum and that he's not going after Ethereum. It was never meant to compete with Ethereum. Solana is meant to replace the financial system. It's meant to replace the New York Stock Exchange, to replace Visa, to go big leagues. And with some of their new tech upgrades, the direction they're heading in, without a doubt. In this video, I'm going to be looking at some of the key metrics comparing these two blockchains. Well, of course, given some price talk at the end of the video. Now, to be very clear, investing in cryptocurrencies is risky. You're probably going to lose all your money. Keep that in mind. I've got a big bag of Ethereum. I have like 2 or 3 Solana, something like that. Totally inconsequential amount, a non-investment level amount, just enough to have on my wallets for screwing around on the Solana network. But I use Solana. I like Solana. I use Ethereum. I like Ethereum. But I got a bag of Ethereum, not a Solana. If you want to see my full portfolio disclosures, there's always a link in the description that also goes over key risks of investing in cryptocurrencies. Keep that stuff in mind. Now, let's talk about activity. And I want to start off by talking about Google Trends here, the interest over time in these different assets. Now, you see, with the exception of Spain and the Philippines, information about Ethereum is searched much more often currently than Solana globally. Compounding the last year of search results, Ethereum has almost 3 times more search interest compared to Solana worldwide. And it makes sense. Ethereum's the big boy. Ethereum's got the name recognition. It's been around for a while. Ethereum's like a piece of furniture now in crypto. You got Solana come in. He's the new kid. Got to make a name for himself still. And people are waking up to Solana more. People are using Solana. They're seeing the benefits of having sub-cent transactions versus trying to do a $20 swap on Uniswap, Ethereum layer 1. Come on, man. Now, what about address activity? Because this is super, super interesting. So this is very interesting. On the daily active addresses, we have seen significant increases for Solana over the past few months, doubling the amount of activity on Ethereum around mid-November, and only recently stabilizing to a flat 300,000 active addresses near the end of the month. Essentially, about as many people are using Ethereum as are using Solana right now. So they kind of match up on that right there. But that's a very interesting metric, because if you look at daily transactions, we see a huge divergence here. Huge divergence. Because we have around the same amount of people using each blockchain per day. And of course, if we talk about Ethereum layer 2s, we have a lot more people on Ethereum layer 2, which makes the whole Ethereum ecosystem bigger by daily active users. I get it. Okay. We're comparing apples to apples here on the layer 1s, not talking about the oranges at the layer 2 right now. It's part of the picture, but a different part of the picture. Anyway, what's interesting is that Solana users are doing a heck of a lot more stuff on chain. Look at this, daily transactions. The amount of daily transactions happening on Solana right now is significantly more than we're seeing happen on Ethereum. And it's not just recently, it's been going on for a long time. Now, we did have a big spike up to like 50 million daily transactions when the Pith airdrop happened. But recently, Solana has been averaging 20 million daily transactions comparing to Ethereum's 1 million. It's a big difference. And part of the reason is that you can do 20 transactions on Solana for, I don't know, 10 cents. 20 transactions on the Ethereum main net might cost you $200 to $500, depending on how busy the network is at the time. Big difference for the average user. Big difference for the average user. Ethereum's fee situation is one of the biggest problems the network is facing right now by far. And before we get into the next interesting factor, I want to just let you know real quick about Wealth Mastery. This is my weekly newsletter. It gets to your inbox 3 times per week. crazy, crazy alpha packed newsletter, super full of value. We spend about 40 hours a week, me and my team, putting this newsletter together for you so that you can have a value packed newsletter. You can just sit down and read and enjoy in like 10 minutes. We talk about altcoin news, altcoin alpha, altcoin reports, the latest crypto industry news, airdrop updates, technical analysis, DeFi tutorials, and much, much more. Use the link down below where you can join our 90,000 weekly readers for free. Check it out. It's awesome. You'll love it. Okay. Let's move on to the next major factor, and that's total value locked. Now, as the blockchain with considerably more time in the marketplace, thus a lot more rich holders, there is no competition right now between the total value locked on Ethereum versus Solana, with over $26 billion locked up on the Ethereum network. At the time we recorded this video, about 600 million on Solana, which is not too shabby. That is less, though, still on Solana than at the bull market peak. Money still hasn't flooded back into such a massive level, but $26 billion. That's almost 50 times as much money on the Ethereum network, total value locked, compared to Solana right now. So while Solana's the comeback kid, it's a David versus Goliath battle right now. And David's got to start, I don't know, man, doing some push-ups, having some iron, nailing some spinach. I don't know, man. Dude needs to get buffed up a little bit here because that TVL score is massively, massively different. Now, what about fees? This is very interesting. Comparing fees between Ethereum and Solana is the same as comparing the cost to fill the gas a tank in a muscle car versus a moped. You already know which one costs less. It's dramatic. Even with fees on Ethereum actually dropping after the migration to proof of stake, positive. Users on Ethereum pay millions and millions of dollars in fees every single day, while Solana users barely break $100,000 a day. The comparison could not be more stark. And this is, again, a reason why we are seeing people looking at Solana right now and going, looks pretty good to me. I use Ethereum layer 2s a lot. I'm using Arbitrum a lot. Other layer 2s less, mainly for like airdrop farming activities, by the way, which we talk about in the Wealth Master newsletter, but mainly for kind of news for farming activities like that. But I use Arbitrum all the time. It's cheap. Not as cheap as Solana, though. Not as cheap as Solana, but cheaper than the Ethereum main chain. So it's got that going for it. Now, what about market cap? What about market cap? So both projects are pretty firmly positioned at the top of all cryptocurrencies. Right now, Ethereum's market cap is actually 10 times that of Solana. Pretty big difference, which means, of course, if you're thinking about this logically, that means Solana, comparatively, if it takes off, if it really does become the next big thing, if all the hype is truly warranted, there's a lot of space for price appreciation in there. Now let's talk about the inflation rates of this coins, because this is very, very interesting. So inflation of the token supply for SOL was set at 8% at launch and will decrease every year until reaching a yearly inflation rate of 1.5%. Not bad. The current amount of Solana in circulation is around 420 million coins, with the total supply distributed being a little more than 560 million coins. Now, interesting comparisons to Ethereum here. So inflation for the supply of the Ethereum network would be comparable, if the network still operated as a proof of work consensus, but it doesn't anymore. The change to proof of stake removed the previous rate of inflation and flipped Ethereum into a deflationary asset, which is a massive, massive change for the network. This means the total and circulating supply of Ethereum, which is currently around 120 million coins, will continue decreasing every single year. Now, currently, deflation rates like minus 0.2%. So it's not dramatic at the moment, but as the bull market picks up, and whales just need to do stuff. Some things you just got to do on Ethereum, whether you want to or not. I try not to use Ethereum, but sometimes I have to. I frequently have to. I've done a lot of things over there. I still need to do a lot of things over there. And thus, I have to pay stomach-turning fees. That contributes to burning Ethereum, which is a good thing long-term. Not great me paying the big fees, but long-term, we're all contributing to the supply going down. So the remaining Ethereum bags you have, in theory, go up in value overs. And maybe in 10 years, for example, 15 years, we see a supply of Ethereum drop by 20, 25%, which would be pretty crazy. Rising demand, falling supply, you know how that works. Now, what about the ecosystems here? Because Very, very different ecosystems. There's not really a definitive list of all the collaborations happening on Solana or Ethereum. So let's rely on some of the numbers of active projects operating on both networks to try and better understand a little bit of the current ecosystem here. So Ethereum right now has over 500 decentralized applications actively operating on the network. The largest of these being the Ethereum liquid staking protocol Lido, Maker, DAO, Aave, Uniswap, all these big decentralized finance applications, the big boys, right? The big boys. Then you have the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, which is tasked with providing assistance to businesses that would like to work with Ethereum. So all kinds of people here, Microsoft, JP Morgan, Santander Banking Group, as well as partnerships with Amazon and Intel and Fidelity. And it's crazy. Ethereum's got big people it's working with. Big people. Not all the names I like. JP Morgan's on that list. That makes me a little uncomfortable being JP Morgan. Those guys. Anyway, Solana, on the other hand, currently has less than 100 decentralized applications running the network. Now, to be very clear, when the FTX collapse happened, people really had an existential moment with Solana. Will it survive or not? A lot of developers just gave up. A lot of teams left. It's been a tough road for Solana post FTX, but they're recovering now, and maybe we're going to see that number of decentralized applications shoot up in a quick amount of time. Very well could. Very well could. Most popular ones right now, Marinade Finance, Jito, MarginFi, SolLend, Orca. Again, all the favorite stuff, decentralized finance applications. But according to the Solana website, there are almost 700 products that currently utilize Solana in one way or another. The Solana Foundation has been a big resource, of course, for forming the partnerships and onboarding them into the Solana network. Noteworthy partnerships for Solana include Google, Stripe, Shopify, Discord, Circle, Brave, Meta, Magic Eden, others. Not quite as big names here. Well, obviously there are some big names, but Ethereum's got more big names. But Ethereum's the OG blockchain. And again, Solana's the up-and-comer. It's one trying to make a name for itself right now, and it's making a name for itself without a doubt. Okay, now let's talk about development activity on the network. It's a big deal, actually, to show that developers are really interested. People are actively making the blockchain better and moving it forward. The health of a project is important and is gaugeable by the level of interest in development here. And really, its continued relevance in the blockchain world is important. Falling behind in this area is usually something that spells a bit of disaster for a network and its participants. Litecoin, which has had almost no development activity, or very, very little, I should say, development activity in a long time. Not a great look, but no one's really talking about Litecoin these days, at least not very much. Solana, though, it's the new kid, it's the hyped coin. Ethereum, everybody talks about Ethereum all the time. So let's compare the juggernauts here. Now, as most activity and busy development in the community of crypto, Ethereum has almost 1,000 active developers working on the protocol on a regular basis. This is a huge number. It's had a total of 180 upgrades since its initial release to the core technology. So Ethereum, obviously, huge pool of super nerds behind Ethereum here. Big fan of nerds. You guys are doing a great job, all you Ethereum developers. I appreciate it. My hat's off to you guys. Keep doing it. Pump my bags. I love it. As of the 1st of November, there's been more than 10,000 individual changes made to the Ethereum code base. That's busy. The nerds at Ethereum are busy, and I love it. Solana has almost 500 active developers working on the project, which is pretty impressive considering the disparity in market cap. Ethereum 10x the market cap, twice the developers. Interesting. Community right now getting ready for its 460th update to Solana. However, in the same time frame as Ethereum, Solana has made less than 1,000 changes to the code base. As the proof of stake consensus network, Ethereum has almost 900,000 active validators. Obviously, proof of stake was fantastic for decentralizing Ethereum beyond the miners, so that's a very positive thing. Solana consensus, though, bit of a hybrid between delegated proof of stake and proof of history through Solana's 2,000 validators. Therefore, it's able to achieve those transaction times of less than a second. So a little bit different, right? 2,000 validators, still pretty good. Let's keep it real. It's not 5 validators, right? It's not as great as 900,000 validators. Ethereum is very, very decentralized right now. But even within that 900,000 validator number, you have to understand that we see like Lido Finance and their sort of cartel of partners getting a huge percentage of the total amount of people contributing ETH into the staking pool. Rocket Pool also, Coinbase, right? So we're seeing a bit of centralization in terms of who's doing the staking, who are running the validators. You got to keep that in mind. So there's always a bit of a extra detail note there. And what about heading into 2024? What do these blockchains have to wait for? Well, for Ethereum, we have EIP 4844, which is going to 10 to 100x decrease the fees for Ethereum layer 2s. Because really, the big action right now on Ethereum is at layer 2. Go and use Optimism, go and use Arbitrum, Scroll, Starknet, Linea, ZK Sync, all that kind of stuff. That's where the party is right now on the Ethereum network. Account abstraction's also coming. Great. A lot of other blockchains are already working on that or have that, but account abstraction will be coming for Ethereum, which is a positive thing. Fees, though, are going to be staying high on the layer 1 for the foreseeable future, as yes, we will get network sharding at some point, but a lot of other things are coming before that. Then we have Solana. Solana, of course, very scalable right now, very cheap fees right now. And then we have Fire Dancer. Now, Fire Dancer, basically, long story short, is looking to upgrade the transaction speeds of Solana up to 1.2 million transactions per second, which is a lot. That's the kind of level that would handle Twitter and Facebook, both going on chain. Big, big thinking here. You have stuff like Token 22, which is coming up. And that's going to basically bring in an enterprise standard for Solana so they can welcome more corporate partners in. Now, closing thoughts here. Closing thoughts. So Solana, again, I keep using the word comeback kid because they really, really are. If you were not paying attention in December 2022, the vibe around Solana was not good. Let's put it that way. And what about price comparisons? We've done all the network comparisons. We see Solana network very strong, in some ways very strongly diverging in positive ways from Ethereum. For Sol to get to the current market cap, the current, not talking about the bull market peak for Ethereum, just the current market cap of Ethereum, that's a 10x move. Basically, we're talking about a $600 Solana. Market cap 25 billion to 250 billion, essentially. For ETH to get to 10K per coin, that's a 5x move, just 5x. That's a $1.25 trillion market cap in that situation. I feel like one of those is a bigger number with more potential for price appreciation. Obviously, people are thinking, well, Ethereum's going to be the safer bet. Ethereum's got the spot ETFs coming from BlackRock and stuff like this. So there's that as well. And look, Ethereum is still like the king of the blockchain world. In spite of the high fees on layer 1, the layer 2 networks are going crazy. Solana still got a lot to prove. They're proving. They're in the process of proving. Still a lot to prove.